And we're live. And we're live. Is anybody there? Hey guys, welcome to this week's edition of In the Spotlight. Thank you for joining us. Hey Mr. Cool too. Hey guys, how you guys doing? Hello and welcome. Oh, we got a lot of people following us. Nice to see you all. Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of In the Spotlight. We have with us today Mr. Sundeep Jain, business owner of Frontier Management System, as a guest. I hope you guys are excited as well for this edition of In the Spotlight. Hello everyone. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for waving us. Hey Mr. Shirali. Hello Gia, Priyanka. Nice to see you guys. Hello and welcome again. Those who are joining us for the first time, welcome to In the Spotlight, which is basically a small session where we have a guest speaking to us about a certain topic, and and that happens every Friday. And those who are joining us again and who join us every week, thank you so much for following us. Thank you so much for joining in and being a part of our live sessions. Let's see if we have our guest on board already. Yes, we have a guest, so we'll be joining. Let's bring on Mr. Sundeep to join us. Hi Sandeep.
Hi Rohit, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good, sir. I'm very good.
Oh, we have a lot of people joining us,
All
and they
right.
say they give the regards and the highs and hellos to you.
Hi everyone. Thanks for joining us. It was good to see you all live, and I'm going live.
So perfect. All right. So once again, thank you for joining us, Sandeep. Thank you for taking out time to do this with us.
Okay, thank you very
Sandeep, you
much
need to
for having
keep
me.
your phone straight. You're sideways. You're
Okay.
horizontal, actually. Yeah, this is perfect. Yeah.
Now then I have to hold my phone. I thought I can keep it. All right. Anyways, not a problem. So,
All right.
can I
Right.
start
So
or we'll wait for
yeah, you
some
can
more
start
time?
off. Thank you. Just before you start off,
Mhm.
welcome to all of y'all, and thank you for joining us. And now, Mr. Sundeep Jain will take over. Go ahead, Sandeep.
Okay, thank you, Rohit, and a lovely introduction. Good evening, everyone. So, yes, I'll be talking to you guys about the topic for today is selling your business to your future associates or to the right people. That means we will be discussing recruitment today. See, recruitment, as you all know, is very integral part of any business. People think that sales is everything, sales is the backbone, and sales is the bloodline of any business. But that is obviously one of the perspectives. But then, to be very honest and frank with you all, recruitment plays a very integral part in any company. If you're not going to hire the right candidate, if you're not going to hire the right person for your team or for your company, then obviously you won't be able to make the profits you desire or you want to make. Right. So we will be talking about recruitment. Now, selling your business in literal sense doesn't mean to sell your business. That's what people, the first impression when you read the topic selling your business, and people thought, kind of, where you will develop a business and then you will sell off that business. No, it is not like that. Basically selling your business here means that giving or passing on this opportunity to everyone who's joining your business, right? Now,
Yeah.
the question is who is the right person for the task. So obviously you cannot hire anyone and everyone. So you have to be very precise when it comes to hiring people for your business. Remember, you are a brand. You are a company which represents multinational companies. So the one you will be hiring will be representing the multinational company as well. So it is very important that you hire someone who's responsible, who's honest, who's hardworking, who's disciplined, who's ambitious, and who can carry, like FMS is the name of my company, right? And FMS, I mean, according to me, obviously, I'm the entrepreneur, I'm the owner of FMS Group India. So therefore, for me, FMS is a brand, right? And when I say FMS is a brand, then obviously I want someone who can make sure that who can take care of this brand and also carry the legacy for years. I don't want to recruit someone, for a day, for a week, or for some time. No, I want to recruit people who can stay with me. Like I'm in the business for 16 years now. Sorry, I did not give introduction. My name is Sundeep Jain, and I'm here with I'm associated with QSPL for last 16 years now. And today is my 15th year as owner of FMS. Today is the day I got promoted. July 5th, 2000. Sorry, July 5th is going to be 2 days from now. But then, yes, I got promoted on 5th of July 2005. And since then, I'm running, an office. I have got more than 20 offices in 6 different cities at this very moment. And I have owners in all the divisions like charities, DTH, uh, insurance, Google, credit cards, ICICI, and IndusInd Bank, and all those products. And I did my MBA from London. I was in England for 3 years. I also worked in England for a year with Keynes Energy. And then I came down to India. I joined this company like each and every one of you as a business associate, went on the field, and then I got promoted into ownership. I joined this business in Chennai, and then I moved from Chennai to Delhi as a trainer, you can say a leader, with just one guy on my team. And we started in Delhi on 4th of October on field, but I reached Delhi on 2nd of October 2004, and I joined Kishore in his office in Delhi. And then I obviously built my team here in Delhi. I built my organization from Delhi. I'm in 6 cities currently, promoted people through Delhi. So obviously it all happened here in Delhi only. Now let's jump back. Let's get back to the topic. So topic is all about recruitment. Now, obviously, as I mentioned, the few qualities, like I am looking for someone who's honest, who's hardworking, who's responsible, who's disciplined, and most importantly, who's ambitious, who can carry my legacy for years. And it is very easy for me to put up an ad with the above qualities or the requirements which I just mentioned, and I will end up getting hundreds walking in. How to identify the right candidate is very important. The person who walks into your office will never say that I'm not confident, or the person will never say that I cannot, I don't fit into this profile. Everyone who reads our profile assumes that they fit into that profile, and they walk into our office with confidence. But that doesn't mean that I can, look at everyone as a proper fit for my business. Therefore, it is very important. And we made this whole process very simple, wherein we believe in organic growth. So irrespective of the experience you have, or irrespective of the qualifications you have to start from the scratch. You will have to join my business as a business associate, not just in India or not just in Delhi, but globally. Like globally, we have the same kind of a business network in more than 27 or 29 countries at this very moment. And none of the countries recruit anyone as a branch head or as a owner, because we don't believe in those exact franchise modules. We are so-called franchisees only, but then we are not exactly like McDonald's and KFCs, where you can go and buy the franchise and you can set up your business and you can start making money. But there you're actually investing your money. But when you walk into my office, you're not investing any money other than your time. Therefore, it is very important for us to follow this simple process of believing in organic growth, where we recruit everyone from the scratch, keep them under observation, and train them, develop their skills, and mold them according to our business needs and requirements. Now, we usually refer them as partners in our business. Now, it is very strange. People, even ask me questions, why are we called partners? So no company, when they hire anyone, call them partners. Partners means you have a share in my business, you have a share in my office, or whatever, for that matter, that refers to. But then eventually, the reason why we call them partners is we definitely partner our business with them, as in like after a certain period of time, as I said, we will be keeping them under observation, and that the reason we keep them them under observation is so that we can, we can actually understand the person, we can actually see the potential, mold them according to our needs, and then we can give them an office to manage. So when I say partner, definitely I'm going to give him one of the offices to manage in future. I'm going to be giving him one of the clients to run in future. So it is very important for me to hire the right person who will be representing both the brands, my brand as well as the client, right? Therefore, and the other reason is, it is very easy, that when I recruit someone from the scratch and then promote him into ownership, he has a clear idea about my business now. He is the one or she is the one who will value my business, who will actually know the potential of this business. Anyone who just walks into my office for a day, understands the business, is not going to value my business if I'm going to give him an office to run tomorrow. So therefore, the person who joins the business from scratch understands my business very clearly, and more importantly, knows the potential and value of my business. And he is the right person who can replace me. So if I am giving him an office in some other city, that means he has replaced myself. And now he's going to be running that office the way I am running it, because he has been with me for maybe months or maybe a couple of years, and then now he's running a branch with us or office with us. So the chances of the guy failing is, like, I would say 0%, or I would say less than 1%, and that too because if the person fails solely because of the person's own reasons, I would say, maybe the person was not very interested, or maybe the person was lazy, maybe the person was not having the right working ethics, maybe the person was not having the kind of right frame of mind or right potential about the business. So it is very important that when you recruit someone with the intention of replacing yourself. So therefore, when you have this kind of an intent, then 110% you will be hiring someone and parting. You will part away with all the skills you have, all the knowledge you have, and that will help the guy to run business successfully with us. Now, let's understand 3 important questions about recruitment, right? The first question is why to recruit. I want you to understand, I'm going to be talking from both the owner's point of view as well as the BA's point of view. So in case you have any questions, relevant questions, please put through up and we will be answering those questions. Now, 3 questions which we need to understand when it comes to recruitment is, number 1, why to recruit? Now, if you don't have these clear ideas in your head before you go for recruitment, then you will end up, losing them. You're not going to retain them. So 3 questions. First question, why to recruit, right? And then second question, who to recruit? And then the third question, when to recruit? You need to first answer these 3 questions in your head. That means if you are able to answer these 3 questions in your head, then you are definitely prepared for recruitment, right? Now, let me answer the first question, why to recruit? It is, as I mentioned in the beginning of my session, that recruitment plays a very integral part of any business, because you need to hire right people with right skills if you want to run your business profitably. So this is one reason why you have to recruit. And the second reason why you have to recruit, you have to recruit because you want to expand your business. You want to recruit because you want to pass on the same opportunity to your people who were loyal to you all these days, right? These are the 2 main reasons. But then there is a third hidden reason, which is to make more money. This is what we teach in our people. More people equals to, this is what we teach in a business. More people equals to more business. More people equals to more profit. But eventually, I honestly speaking, I'm going to be talking about myself here as well. I actually don't recruit with that intent. That, I don't recruit with the intention of, making more money. Because if I'm going to carry this kind of an intent in my head, then I'll be tagging my people with a price tag. This guy makes me this much money, that guy makes me this much money, or, things of that sort. Now, that is going to be, complicating your relationship with your people. So the intention or the approach towards recruitment should never be making money. Eventually, just understand my first 2 reasons. If you recruit the right talent, you anyway is going to make more money. Number 2, the second reason I mentioned, you want to expand your business. If you keep recruiting and keep opening new offices, you anyway is going to make more money. So why to have the third intent, which actually fulfills through the first 2 intents itself? So that is what I believe. So that why to recruit has to be clear in your head. And the second question, who to recruit? Now, this is a very important thing. as I mentioned in the beginning of my session, that you are a brand. Therefore, you will be hiring someone who will be representing your brand. So, who to recruit? Now, you got to understand that you're hiring a candidate for your organization and not just for the job. This is not going to be definitely a 9 to 5 job, right? So you will be building your organization. You want to expand, as I mentioned. Therefore, it is important that it has to be clear in your head that you want to develop your organization. That is why this recruitment is. So you will be recruiting such a person. Like I would say, we all know, I mean, as I mentioned, your company is is a brand like how Adidas or Reebok is a brand. Therefore, you will have to hire people who will be representing you and your brand. And the reason behind the success of a lot of companies, you won't believe, the reason behind a lot of companies' success is they hire the right talent. You have noticed that people hire IIM Ahmedabads and IITs and they pay them huge
Correct.
package. And then the reason behind it is very simple. I mean, they first see the job description and then they see the aptness of the candidate who will be joining or who will be fulfilling, that kind of a job description. So it is important that you hire someone who's quality. You hire someone who understand the basic needs of a business. That's important. Now, how to identify the right candidate? So when I say who to recruit, then the immediate question comes or pops in your head is how to identify the right candidate. You need to do two things here. One, see, traditionally what happens is when you put up a ad anywhere and the people who walks in your office, someone who desperately wants a job comes with a preparation as in like जो basic common interview questions जो होते हैं, they just Google them, they just they do mock with themselves where they answer those questions. You need to be creative. They already have answers with those questions which are already trending in the market. Therefore, you have to think differently. Maybe you have to think what the person thinks, or maybe you have to think from the business perspective that who actually you want, and then you put up such questions. So for that, you need to be very creative, right? And second thing, you need to be very challenging. So when I say you need to be very challenging, that means you have to put the candidate in situations where they can show their true selves. Sometimes, you read the resume, sometimes you read the application forms. Trust me, we all know that resumes are most of the times like cut copy paste. They go to Google, they get the sample resumes, they cut from there, they paste in their resumes, and sometimes they even forget to, change the names. They just send the same resume. So when you see there's a different name in application form and a different name in resume, that means the person he's not even that clever that he would change the name before submitting the resume to you. So it is important that you put the candidate in a challenging situation, and I won't say tricky though, but then because the kind of a person you hire is a basic guy, as in like you're not hiring someone who's intellectual, like IIMs or IITs for that matter. So you hire someone who comes from a very basic background. So I don't want you to put them into a tricky situation, but then definitely a challenging situation. So now, while interacting with the candidate, to find out whether she is curious about the job, whether they did their homework properly about your company, they did their research properly, are they asking you interesting and relevant questions, is the candidate growth oriented. It's important to clarify, all these things during your interview round to identify whether this person is the right person for the position you have, right? And then you will have to see whether the candidate has the following characteristics. These are very important characteristics. I'm telling you again, I'm repeating my words. You are hiring someone who will be representing your brand, who will be representing your clients, clients like Tata, Reliance. So it is very important that you hire someone with these basic characteristics, which are like number one, communication skills, right? Number two, the guy needs to be honest. Number three, work ethics. Number four, flexibility. Number five, determination and persistence. These are basic characteristics I'm talking about. And now you will have a question like how to identify whether the candidate possesses these characteristics. I'm going to come to that. But then before that, you also need to find out whether the guy is a team player, whether the guy is a keen learner. Because I want someone who can, who have to replace me. Then someone who will replace me have to be a keen learner, because otherwise you won't be able to follow me or develop those skills which I actually want him or her to develop, right? And most importantly, last characteristics, loyalty. The person needs to be loyal to you, towards your
So,
company, towards
Sandeep, I
your
had a
client.
question. Can I ask
Please.
you a question though?
Yeah, yeah,
So
please.
when you talk about these points, these traits that
Hmm.
you talk about to look in a person,
Hmm.
how easy or difficult is to identify that? What are the kind of questions you need to be asking to actually identify these kind of traits in a person? But because at times a lot of people come up with trained answers. Like how people say you come up with trained answers,
Absolutely.
mugged up answers. So
Absolutely.
how do you uh, make these? What kind of questions do you ask to actually identify what kind of person the character
I'm
the person
coming to
has?
I'm exactly coming to that only, right? So to find out whether the candidate possesses the above characteristics, you need to go through the one application form, right? So when you go to the application form, there are a few questions you ask through that application form. You can actually look at or read those answers and find out whether they are fabricated. Right now, for example, someone says I'm interested in chess. Then, when you read that application form, you will put up a question like, "So, who's your favorite player?" And then he blinks or he takes time to come up with that answer. That means that answer is a fabricated one. That shows he's being dishonest with you or dishonest with himself, right? So it's very simple. So to find out whether the candidate possesses the above characteristics, you need to go through the application form properly and ask questions accordingly. That is very important. Now, questions like, how do you like to get managed? These are if you look at this question, this is a very challenging question. Now, I don't think so someone comes to your office prepared like, and you will ask such a question. How would you like to get managed? So when you ask that question, he will say, I don't like getting shouting at, or I don't like getting pampered, or I like aggressive boss, or I want someone who can push me to my core, or to my, who can push me beyond my boundaries, or who can test my limitations. So you expect such answers. Now these answers comes instantly, therefore they are not fabricated, right? And question like, who's your biggest influence to take up this job? Now sometimes what happens is, I ask a question, so who's your biggest influence? The guy's like, my mom asked me to go and give the interview. So my answer is like, so you're not interested for this job. It's your mom who read the email, it's your mom who read the profile, and then your mom decided that, ha, chalo, theek hai, you go for the interview. Right. And then the question like, which was your favorite subject in school? And then questions like, if you could, if you could, what animal would you be and why? That actually shows the soft side of the guy or the aggressive side of the guy. This guy says, I like to be a lion. That means you want to be the king of jungle. You want, who just wants to dance with the music, stuff like that. So you can easily make out from the answers what kind of a guy he is or she is, right? And then a question like, what motivates you? Question like, tell me about a time when you failed at something. These questions he's not prepared with. He will come up with a genuine answer or something which pops in his head at that very moment, that which we call heat of the moment. And it'll be very easy for us to identify, the characteristics which we are looking at. See, no one is going to tell you that I have this characteristics, or no one is going to be, putting up a list on his, in his on his body saying that I have all the requirements you want. Everybody walks in, but it's important for you to identify the right talent. Question like, what is your weakness according? Now, sometimes what happens is that there are typical questions which we ask in application forms: what is your weakness and what is your strength? What I asked during the interview on this: what is your weakness according to your father? What is your weakness according to your friend? A friend who knows you for 20 years. So what he thinks is your weakness. Right? What is your weakness according to your teacher? Now, the teacher who taught you for 20 years, what he thinks is your weakness. So when I ask such questions, they have to come up with the answers which comes instantly. Most of the times, those are the genuine answers, right? Now, answering the third question, when to recruit. It is very, very important. If you want to get the maximum out of any business, then the timing of recruitment has to be right. It is important to learn the art of knowing when to hire and when not to hire. I'm talking from my business perspective. And again, if you look at any business module, it is not like they have recruitment 24/7. It is like Rohit is from QSPL. I don't think so. There's a vacancy board hanging outside the QSPL office 24/7. recruitments are always need based, right? So currently, I definitely see the need at this very situation, at this very moment. I 100% see the need. But otherwise, when to recruit is, it is important that when you really have the need of the recruitment, you have to go for the recruitment. Right now, plan your recruitment based on the number of trainers or leaders you have in your office. Let's say you have only 5 trainers who can train, and you have 10 people. The point is not that. Sometimes what owner does is, if by chance, my intention was to hire 5 guys this week because I know that I have only 5 trainers, but then there are 10 people who are walking in. Instead of letting the other 5 go, what I do is I recruit all 10. And then what I do is I ask my 5 trainers to train 2 each. No, I want you to understand. No one can, I won't say no one. I mean, you will start proving me wrong then. But then, honestly speaking, it will be very difficult for anyone to train 2 people at the same time. Yes, currently, since we are recruiting through Zoom, since we're training through Zoom, then this particular thing is very much possible. But I am talking from the point of view of going out on the field and training someone. Then it will be very difficult for anyone to train 2 people at the same time. So it's important that letting those 5 go, now recruit all 10, because you will be anyways training them through Zoom, right? Now, and at the same time, see, hire when you have more older people around and no new or fresh talent around. Sometimes, owner who's a little, I would say, in his comfort zone, who has 4 or 5 guys who does 40 or 50 sales a month, and he anyways is getting 200-250 sales, and the owner has very less expenses to pay. Then what he does is he revolves his business around those older people only. When you have only older people in your business, then it is a very, very difficult situation, I would say, because those older people will come with the same old ideas. They won't come with a new idea. They won't come with a different idea. So it's important that it is very important that you keep hiring new talents. Maybe every week 1 or 2, every month 5 or 10, depending upon the need of your business. And then eventually, when you have fresh talents around, it will be very easy. They will come up with ideas. They will poke you. They will push you. They will test your limitations. They will demand more because they are more ambitious. They want to be successful. They want to reach that position as soon as possible. Because I have seen with most of the older guys, they get into their comfort zone and then they take their own time to get into ownership. Sometimes, obviously, maybe the person is not really ambitious, or maybe the person is really not ready with the responsibility. But it doesn't mean that you won't think about your business, or you will stop expanding your business. So it is important that you keep hiring at the same time. Now, looking at the current situation, we all know it's recession, right? We all know that large number of people have been laid off. We know that some were asked to go on a sabbatical, as in like no pay leave, just go home. We will call you when we have it, maybe 3 months or maybe 6 months, we'll get in touch with you. Sabbatical means you can also go and find some other opportunity. In case if you're able to get that opportunity, you're free. We will give you the relieving letter. We will give you the experience letter and all that situation, right? And plus some are in this current situation working on half salaries. So this is maybe for a few months, when the situation gets better, when the the virus is completely cured, then maybe everything will get to normal. But then for time being, there are people who are working on half salaries. So now all I can see is recruitment opportunity. It's very clear. It's very important to understand again. I can see a clear recruitment opportunity here for my business, but with empathetic approach. Don't have that arrogance approach like चल तेरे पास तो job नहीं है, कोई कंपनी तुझे जॉब नहीं दे रही है, मेरी कंपनी तुझे जॉब दे रही है. Not that kind of an approach. Empathetic as in like relate with the guy. Yes, he's jobless. Yes, he has just been I won't say fired or sacked. He has just been sent on a sabbatical. So be nice to the guy. Have that empathetic approach while recruiting the guy. At the same time, the current economy and this deadly virus is not allowing these companies to keep them on board. This is what you need to understand, right? The companies are not doing it on purpose. The government is not doing it on purpose. The corona did not ask for a permission before entering a country or before entering into my body. So the situation is such which is not allowing these companies to go for recruitment or to keep them on board. But my business module allows me to easily accommodate them. And you all know the reason. I can put 100 guys and put them on performance, and if they're performing, they're getting paid. So with that kind of a business module, I can accommodate as many people as I want with the current situation as well. But it is again very important that you put only those number of people which is in your managing capability. You put 100 people, but if you're not going to give time to everyone, then they will talk ill about your business. They will post all wrong things about your business. Because see, all those 100 people you recruited got the same mail that we will train you, we will train you, we will train you. Now I am not able to manage them. Now I'm not able to train them. Then what do you think they will go and write, about you in social media? They will say the company is not promising. They will say that the company only says fake things. The company says train, but they don't train. And at the same time, guys, I know it is very easy to say that today with today's technology, like with Zoom, I can train 100 people at the same time. But then, practically speaking, like even if I have to put my daughter into a school, I'm not going to put my daughter with one teacher managing 100 students. We want to see the ratio there 1 is to 20, 1 is to 10, 1 is to 15. So this is something called managing capability. Though you are training all 10 at the same time, but then they all need personal attention. And sometimes I'm not able to give that personal attention to all. I today have more than 350 people in my organization, but trust me, I'm not able to talk to all those 350 people. So what I have done is I have leaders. I have leaders at different levels who are managing them. I manage all those 20 owners. Those 20 owners manage 5 leaders. Those 5 leaders manage four people each. That is something called managing capability. Again, guys, I'm only saying my point, my viewpoint and my perspective. If you believe that you can manage 10 at a time, training 10 at a time, if you believe that you can train 100 at a time, please go for it. There is no hard and fast rule for that. But then, in my sense, I think that there's no point getting so greedy. There's no point hiring 100 and then losing 100 in 3 days or 100 in 1 week and also losing your confidence. I've seen many times, a trainer who hires 3 and loses 3 is scared to hire the 4th one. He's already assuming that I'm going to lose that guy as well. So now the guy has also lost the confidence with those guys who are lost. So it is important that you always, see your managing capability, and then accordingly you hire, train, and keep them in the business. As I mentioned in the beginning of my session, the purpose of recruitment is long-term retention, long-term bonding in the business, not just a day. I don't want the guy to come, have an office tour, and then leave. I don't want the guy to come, oh, this is law of averages, and then leave. I want the guy to come into my business, stay with me, stay like Kishore, stay like Dinesh, who are in the business for like 20 years and 18 years, and people like me who are 16 years in the business. People like Gopi who are 10 years in the business. So it is very important that you have such kind of recruitment strategy where you retain your people for a longer period of time. Right. I hope I passed on all the information I have about recruitment. If anybody have any questions, I'm more than willing to answer the questions now.
So I had a question actually. Now I want to talk about the interviews that are happening now. Because of the lockdown, the interviews are happening over telephone and over Zoom. How much of a difference does it make in the to your previous method? How much of a difference is there to the previous method of interviews that you did earlier?
See, I mean, eventually, I am at this very moment not seeing any difference. See, earlier I used to take interviews one-on-one in my cabin, talking to people and doing the same thing, and I'm doing the same thing now over or across this Zoom. So, honestly speaking, from my perspective or from my point of view, I'm definitely not seeing any difference. But if you have any specific questions, then maybe. Or maybe if you have any specific questions like how do you now read the facial expressions, or how do you now judge the person, whether the person is interested for the job or not, then honestly speaking, I actually put up same questions what I used to put up across the table. So I don't see any big difference, whether I'm doing face-to-face interviews or I'm doing interviews through Zoom.
And so do people still dress up for these interviews, or they are as casual because they're at home?
No, definitely not. Because see, okay, let me tell you how I conduct interviews. So before we conduct interviews over Zoom, what we do is we call the guys, and we inform them that this is going to be a formal interview, and you have to dress up formally. And secondly, we also teach them how to use Zoom. how to use your device audio to listen to the interview, or you have to mute your phone during the interview because there will be other candidates, right? And you have to be in an area where you have the best connectivity so that you can be connected throughout the interview. And then the
Okay.
interview is going to be maybe for 15 minutes or maybe for 30 minutes. So keep yourself free for 30 minutes at least. So we give a prior information to the candidates before we send the Zoom invite. So that makes the job very easy.
But are you able to? Are you doing the same amount? Are you able to do more number of interviews on a day-to-day basis? Having, especially those
I am,
face-to-face interviews.
see, comparatively, yes. Earlier, as I mentioned, because I never had this practice of doing, mass recruitment, as in like getting 10 people in your cabin and then taking interviews for all the 10 people at the same time. So I always practiced one-on-one interviews. But now, since it is Zoom and plus the candidate have, they cannot talk among themselves. They're restricted, and I can easily monitor them. They are right in front of my camera. So I have no issues. I mean, as in like I'm now taking interviews in 2 or 3 slots, and each slot has sometimes 5 candidates, sometimes 7 candidates, depending upon the number of interviews I have. So let's say if I have 21 interviews, then I divide them in 3 slots. I won't put all 21 together. See, putting all those 21 together is going to be easy because I have to only give my company orientation once. But then I won't say I'm not confident doing that. I'm very much confident doing that. But then I might not get across properly to all those 21 guys at the same time. And I don't have a problem because my interview will last maybe for 15 to 20 minutes. I don't have a problem doing interviews for 1 hour. Earlier, I used to do interview for 4 hours. Now I have to do interview for 1 hour. So I don't really have a problem. So this is how I conduct interviews through Zoom.
Okay. So we've got 2 questions actually. I'm going to put that
Hmm.
up. This
Please.
is a question that says, when there is a multiple options in the market, why candidates should have to take the opportunity to start from zero?
Oh, brilliant. See, when there is a multiple options in the market, why candidates has to take our opportunity to start with zero? See, definitely there are multiple options in the market, but then no company is giving you the option of running your own business with zero investment. As in, like when you join my company, why the reason? I mean, if you were there from the beginning of my session, then I did mention that why we want to hire someone from the scratch. The reason behind that is the person who will be under my supervision or under my observation for 6 months, 8 months, or 10 months, or 12 months, or 15 months, depending upon the grasping skills of the candidate, those months we are actually teaching the guy, molding the guy on how to run a business. When you talk about multiple options in the market, then obviously those multiple options are only maybe one particular department. Maybe they're looking for opening in finance, or maybe in advertising, or maybe in marketing, or maybe in sales. They're not recruiting you as a whole for the business opportunity. So here you have the opportunity of running a business. Now, yes, you have to start from zero because you cannot just walk in and start running your business. I mean, even if you, let me give you a good example here. We all know Mukesh Ambani, right? When he came back doing MBA from abroad, his dad did not give him the business straight away. He worked with Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani for years to understand the business. Now, for that is a zero level only. No, he was not sitting on the managing director's chair. Now, Mr. Mukesh Ambani is also doing the same thing with his son Anant Ambani. Till date, we are only seeing Mukesh Ambani everywhere. Right? We hardly see Anant Ambani anywhere. But then let me tell you, Anant Ambani goes to the office every day with his dad. Same time. Dressed up in suits. But why is he not there in the front at this very moment? He's learning how to run the business. So even my dad is a businessman. He would never give me the business right after my qualification. Okay, चलो अभी तू आ गया है, अभी तू business संभाल, मैं retire हो जाता हूँ. No dad does that. So when our own parents don't do that with us, how do you expect a company like me who's only seeing you for the first time or meeting you for the first time and decide in 5 minutes, chalo, let me give him my company and let me go somewhere else and open another branch? That doesn't work. So even if I give you, let's say I'm not making you start from zero, I'm straight away giving you an office. You will come back to me after 10 days or maybe after 2 days that I'm sorry, I won't be able to run this business. Or maybe, you will come up with 100 questions. What is this? What is that? What is that? How to do this? How to do that? We don't want such things. So therefore, we train people carefully from the very beginning, teach them everything we know, and then confidently we hand over our business. Now we are positive that they will run the business profitably.
And
Right?
let's have another question.
Please. How do you decide, plan your goals? You have an Audi,
Okay,
a
one
mansion.
second. Sorry. You have an Audi, a mansion, etc. How do you decide, plan your goals slash plan your
Okay, so the
goals?
question. Okay, so the question: you have an Audi, a mansion, etc. How do you decide, or how do you plan your goals? Now, very frankly speaking, I always wanted to have such a luxury or such a lifestyle ever since I joined this business. I would say before joining this business. See, I mean, this is one reason I really want you guys to pay attention now. Your circle decides what you want to be. Your circle decides who you will be. So listen to this very carefully. Your circle decides what you want to be. Your circle decides who you want to be. So when I say circle, circle is like who you are surrounding yourself with. So when I was in college, when I was in BCom, doing my BCom from Loyola College, I had these friends, who always used to talk. Whenever we get a free period or whenever we, bunk classes, whenever we go to play snookers, we are potting those balls. But at the same time, we're talking about, I'm going to buy Audi as my first car. I'm going to buy Mercedes as my first car. I want convertible. I want to buy a red Ferrari. I want to have a mansion. I want to have a swimming pool, in my mansion. I want to have this. I want to have that. Trust me, my goals were decided when I was not even part of this company. My goals were decided when I was part of that circle. Those friends. Maybe, I would say that I was blessed or I was lucky enough to have such friends then at that point of time when I was only 20, 21 years old, right? You have the chance today. Surround yourself with people who are positive. You will automatically learn how to plan or how to set higher goals or how to, mold yourself according to those requirements. Till date, we are surrounded. This is also because of the confidence you are carrying. You don't want to surround yourself with people who are successful because one, they are more demanding, two, they are hardworking, three, they are honest, four, they are ambitious. And you think that you're not such a person. Trust me, no one, as we always mention this statement, in lot many places. You born poor, that was not your mistake. But if you die poor, definitely that's your mistake. Like I keep saying, my people, there are people who keep saying, I'm from middle class, I'm from middle class. So even a 21-year-old guy walks into my office and says, I'm a middle class guy. I come from a middle class family. But then I'm saying your dad, who's maybe 50 years old now, and who already have an experience of working for 25 years, he was not able to change that tag in 25 years, right? And then your father kept saying that I'm from middle class because your grandfather kept saying I'm from middle class. So your grandfather worked for 30 years. He was also not able to change the tag of middle class. But now I'm asking you a question. Where did Ambani got his riches from? I'm talking about Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani, not Mukesh Ambani. Where did Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani got his riches from? Or for that matter, where Mr. Bill Gates got his riches from? Or for that matter, where Mr. Mark Zuckerberg got his riches from? They were not born rich. They were, you at least say that you are middle class. They, like Dhirubhai Ambani used to call himself a scheduled caste. It's like a backward caste because obviously he used to sleep on park benches and platforms, and he was working odd hours. He was even working with petrol pumps. Definitely not even a middle class guy works in a petrol pump. You're saying middle class, you go to college. When I say I'm not a middle class, that means I work with petrol pumps. So question is, where did they got their riches from? Same birth, same kind of situation. Who you surround yourself. If you're surrounding someone who keeps saying that I'm from middle class or I am this, I'm that, trust me, you will have to see yourself as a middle class. I don't know for maybe how long. So it's important that you surround yourself with people who are successful. Now, how I plan my goals, more than planning my goals, I'm aggressive about hitting my goals. If I decide on something, then I have to go for it. I'm good with numbers. I keep those numbers in my head. If I say I want to do 500 this month, then I exactly know, mid of the month on 14th of July, I know how many sales I have done. And then I calculate my averages in my head. Okay, I have to do this many sales in the next 16 days. It's important that you micromanage yourself in your head. You micromanage your business in your head. But think macro, think big. That's very important, right? And that's how you can drive Audi. That's how you can live in a beautiful mansion, beautiful house, and all that stuff. When you're only 35, 36. I had all these things when I was only 35, 36. I am 38 now, but then yes, all these things work out well when you have a good circle around, right?
Okay, so there's a
Positive
question
people
from
in
Mr.
short.
Suhas. Okay, there's a
Yes.
question from Mr. Suhas Kumar. As of now, due to the situation, we have started training people over on online basis.
Hmm.
Whereas, how do you retain your guys on a long term when you're doing this? How do you retain them? How do you retain them on a long time basis?
As I mentioned, the first question's answer, like, do you see any difference in hiring from office or hiring from Zoom? It's same thing. I am talking to a person. Whether I'm talking from home, I'm talking from office, not going to change my vocabulary, not going to change my words. I anyways have to build relationship. I anyways have to train the guy to the best of my ability. I would do the same. If the guy walks into my office, sits in front of me, I would do the same. If the guy is in Zoom or I'm training through a video conference, I would do the same. I'm as a person not gonna change. I am the same. I'm Sundeep Jain. I'm gonna be Sundeep Jain right in front of you, and I'm gonna be Sundeep Jain even over that Zoom call. So when nothing is changes, then how do you think that the training will change? Your 5 steps not going to change, whether the guy is in the office or the guy is in his home. The law of averages is not going to change. It is your mindset, your mentality, how you tweak it, how you twist it, how you mold it. That is important. And it is very important that you are positive in your head. It doesn't make any difference. And plus, the other guy on the other side understands that this is a pandemic situation. He cannot come out of his house. I cannot go out of my house. And I have to live with this. And I am adjusting to it. And trust me, if I talk about myself, uh, not only me, but I've seen many who adapt, who adjust to to the situation very fast, really fast, right? So when I came to this company years back, like 16 years back, they put me on the field. I never came with a sales background. I never had that experience. I did my MBA in finance. I worked as a financial analyst, and that's why I said I'm good with numbers. But trust me, I never came with that sales experience or background. But when they put me on the field, and then when I was on the field for 15 days, I eventually learned how to do sales, how to sell directly. And first 14 days, I was learning, I was practicing. So maybe when I'm doing it for the first time, like Zoom training, maybe I'm doing it for the first time. So I might end up lose that guy. Doesn't matter. But I'm not going to lose confidence. I'm not going to stop practicing. I will keep practicing till I master that, till I learn how to do it. It was difficult for me as well in the beginning because I was also doing it for the first time. Telecalling was never my forte. I never did telecalling ever in my life. But now I'm learning how to do telecalling. And eventually, first month we did whatever, 100 sales across India. Second month we did 2,500 sales. Now, only third month of telecalling, we did 7,000 sales in product and some whopping 40,000 supports in charities. But trust me, all these are online sales and we are not good at it. We were never good at it. Had we been good at it, then trust me, 16 years I would have only been doing telecalling. I would have never done direct marketing in the first place. So eventually, if you are willing to learn anything, you will end up learning everything. All right.
All right.
Any
So
more
one last
questions, sir?
question.
Hmm.
One last question. This is from Zillions, boss
Hmm.
underscore Zillions. He asked, how do you stop making mistakes? Continuous, or you stop making mistakes continuously? So it could be also from a recruitment point of view. How do you stop making
Hmm.
recruitment mistakes?
So maybe you're asking maybe from the BS point of view, how do you stop making mistakes? Yeah, as I mentioned, like someone asked with this question, you have a Audi, you have a mansion, and all that stuff. But frankly speaking, I always wanted that. So people who are ambitious, people who want such luxuries in their life, they cannot afford same mistakes. I'm not saying I'm the best or I have an IQ level which is above par. I won't say that. I'm an average guy. I also make mistakes, but the important thing is I don't repeat my mistakes. I never repeat my mistakes. See, as we say, defeat is not when you fall down. Defeat is when you refuse to get up. If you're falling again, that is a mistake. First time, that was like by mistake. Second time, you're repeating the same mistake. That means you're not learning. You're not learning from your mistake. And when you're not learning from your own mistakes, that is the biggest sign that you're happy with whatever life you have. You're happy with going out on the field with the folder, meeting those 50 people, doing those 2 sales and making those 20,000, 25,000 rupees a month. You are not looking at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is running your office. The bigger picture is expansion. The bigger picture is running cities. The bigger picture is having more than 25, 30, 40, 50 offices. And that's exactly what Mr. Kishore Tarachandani has. He is the first person who joined this business in 1998. Today he has more than 80 offices across India. He has his presence in more than 25 cities. That is the biggest sign of someone who's ambitious. And he also comes from a middle class family. He also comes from a working class family. And he also came from a background where he also never had any sales experience. So it is important that what kind of a mindset, what kind of a mentality you have. Now, saying this, it is your willingness. As I said, I don't want to repeat mistakes, so I don't repeat mistakes. If I tell you don't repeat mistakes, you will still repeat mistakes. So this has to come within, from inside, from, आपके अंदर से वो आना चाहिए कि मुझे और मैं गलती करूंगा तो मैं प्रमोट नहीं हो पाऊंगा. तो मुझे वो गलती करने से रोकना है अपने आप को. I have to stop myself. That will only see. You listen to your head. You listen to your brain. 100 people will say 100 things, but you will only do what you want to do. So it is important that you understand the opportunity. You understand the kind of the platform we are providing you. You can run a business with us with a 0% investment. Right? So yes, you can teach the person not to repeat the mistakes, but instead of that, if the person is repeating the mistake, I think you should change the person. As in, like, shift your focus. Teach someone else who is more interested in getting into ownership than teaching the same person. This is exactly what I believe in. I believe in teaching 100 different people than teaching the same person 100 times. To the most, I will train someone once, twice, thrice. But if not, then I will shift my focus on someone else. Again, I'm not being rude or I'm not being harsh. There are other people who are actually in the same kind of a setup and who want the same kind of an opportunity. So instead of teaching someone who's interested, there's no point teaching someone who's not interested. Like I was watching Mahabharata lately, and then where Arjun's the Dronacharya was teaching Arjun how to aim or how to have the focus. Now Arjun had the right focus, and Arjun got that thing. And then he asked Dronacharya, like, how I did that. And he's like, thank you for teaching me. And the answer came from Dronacharya is like, it's not like my teaching. It is like your interest of learning. Since you had the interest of learning, you were able to pick me up. Because you wanted to learn, you were able to learn. Right? Yeah, any more questions or are we done?
So there's one last question I'm going to go into. And this is from Henny. It's a two-part question. So the first part is how are you working on great averages? How you are working on great averages, even working from home? That's one part of the question. And the second part of the question is, what are your strategies to retain people now that you're working from home? So yeah.
Okay. So it's going to be a very funny answer. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still have to pay my car EMI and my mansion's EMI. So I cannot compromise on my averages no matter what. I mean, I have to pay my expenses. I mean, maybe I'm coming across very arrogantly, but then that's the fact. I mean, my car's EMI has to go on time. If I'm not going to pay that EMI, then I don't want to go to that embarrassing situation like, calls from banks or people walking into my house, or, the recovery teams taking my car or towing my car away. I never worked, I mean, honestly speaking, I never wanted, or I never bought the car and then I want someone to, take it away, right? So my expenses are not stopping. My landlord is demanding the rent from me. My daughter school fees I kept. Every month there's a reminder, set date. Fees pay karna hai, fees pay karna hai. My electricity bill, all, nothing has stopped. Trust me, my income stopped for that one particular month from 15th March to 15th April because we were not doing anything. We were on complete close down from 15th March till 15th April. I was constantly and continuously thinking that how am I going to make money now, or how can I make money now? And then this is exactly where people came up with this idea of telecalling. In fact, the charities, Sai started telecalling, and then we also saw the results, and then we thought we can also do telecalling. And when I got to know that we can do telecalling, I did not waste my time. Trust me, I did not waste my time. People are like, let me call first and then I'll get my people on board. People are like, let me only get my leaders. I will only get 5 people to make calls. People had such kind of a mindset, such kind of a strategy. I was clear in my head that I have to pay 2 lakhs as my expense every month. I want everybody in. Secondly, I was also thinking from my guy's point of view. I never wanted only 5 people making money for themselves. I wanted all those 25 people making money in my company. All those 25 people were my responsibility, not only those 5 leaders. So I got everyone on call. I trained them. I taught them how to do telecalling. There were continuous calls. There were days when I was making calls to my people every 1 hour. Every 1 hour, every 2 hours, I was sending Zoom invite because we were doing telecalling for the first time. So I had to do it no matter what. चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए, चाहे जो भी हो जाए, मुझे तो सीखना ही पड़ेगा. And I had this clear-cut thing in my head. I was put on the field. I didn't know how to sell. I practiced for 15 days and I learned how to sell. I never did telecalling ever in my life. I practiced for 10 days. I learned how to telesell. Today, we are generating sales from telecalling only. So anything and everything possible. And the biggest thing is when you have expenses in your head, you will work without any hesitation. That all comes secondary. All those excuses comes. You don't. They never come in your head because you have to pay your expenses no matter what. The government said that you can defer your loan for 3 months, but then they are giving you that option of deferring, and then you have to end up paying 10,000 rupees extra from 4th month onwards. Why would I do that? When I'm not making money, why would I end up spending more money? I don't think so. I'm that dumb. So I did not defer my any payments. I did not defer anything. I made my payments on time. No instructions of that sort from my side. So it's important that you have such kind of a mindset and a mentality. Your averages will instantly they will pick up. They're just averages. It's your attitude which needs to get picked up first. If your attitude is positive, everything else will follow.
All right. Thank you so much, Sundeep. Thank you so much for your time and thank you for this great session. We've got some really great comments from people who really enjoyed your session today, this evening. And thank you so much for taking the time once again.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for being, on the call so patiently with me. Obviously I spoke for almost 1 hour and I can understand, how hungry you guys are. I would like you guys to please go have your dinner and have a great time with your family. Stay safe, stay home. And in case if your city is in safe zone, please go out, go to your offices and work. All the best, guys. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for sticking around. I hope you guys had a great session. We'll see you next week again with another great session. Keep tuned to our Facebook page, to our Instagram pages to know who the next speaker is. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Take care, stay blessed, and take care of yourself. Bye, guys.